You want to talk about this Hit-Boy record featuring Nas, The Tide?
Of course I do. It's very wavy.
Thumbs up in the
Very
chat,
wavy.
everybody. Let everybody know that we're on live right now, man. We appreciate y'all participation. I don't know what's going on with the super chats, man. We're not getting like any. Maybe do they have like some sort of restriction going on or something? We got like a few to help. Maybe people just were listening to us and don't want to engage. I don't know. But you heard the record. You actually hit me when you heard the record. What did you think about Hit Boy's new song, The Tide, featuring Nas?
Respectfully, I really enjoy the record and what Hit Boy's doing because he's not doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, even when I reposted it, I retweeted it, I'm like, no, he's on some futuristic shit. He's not trying to make the same thing over again. And this doesn't sound like a Nas record. And those are exactly the records he needs to be doing, in my opinion. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, for him, it's like, and I've said this behind the scenes to some people, is it's like, man, stop listening to these old motherfuckers and go do some new shit with the kids. For real. Because you live out here, you hot, your bar game is up. Mike, you hear him, he can rap on anything now.
I love the energy, man, and you know,
The
and it
energy
made
is
me.
high.
It makes me think about the interview that you and that you did with Hit Boy, and you got a lot of really great insight as far as like the process, and again the energy and just the vibe that goes on in the studio when those two guys are together. Like they both, I mean, obviously respect each other's craft, and that's one thing. And there's a lot of talented people that get in the room and respect each other, but they actually have this thing going on where, I mean, we saw it a lot on KD3. Wherever you go, I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like that whole, those are the things that make great groups. Like when we look at Big Boy and Dre and how Big Boy at one point was like, look, wherever you go, Dre, I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? And that makes for great music, especially when you got a producer and an MC. Now, one thing I did notice when I was playing this in the car that I didn't notice when I was playing like on my laptop, Hit Boy spitting on here.
He
And
is.
and Hit Boy is really, obviously you're on the record with Nas, taking the bar work serious. And his flows in pocket, the subject matter's there, and like you said, they're on some new shit. It's not like they're trying to recreate anything. That's the impressive thing about this pairing too. It's like
This is fresh.
once they got
It's
KD,
fresh.
yeah, once they got KD1 done, it's like okay, close the chapter on to something else. Boom. Once they got KD2 done, boom, do something else. Magic bonus, let's do something else. KD3, everything that they're doing and have done together continues to evolve, and like you said, it's fresh.
So a few things. When I thought about the Hit Boy interview that I did to shout out the Hit,
Shout out to Hit.
still much love. Yeah, the interview is still circulating, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the look. But one of the things that I asked him, Mike, and it was on some rap shit because I can hear him. And you're like this too, Mike. I used to be an artist. When he raps, I hear somebody that was rapping before they were making beats, and he confirmed it. He was like, no, I started rapping when I was about 13,
Yeah,
but
I
I
heard
started
that.
making beats when I was 15.
I thought
You want
about
to hear
that
some?
question you asked too when I was listening to him rap. I was like, yeah,
No, the back and forth with Nas is the evidence that he was rapping first. You
yeah,
feel what I'm saying?
right.
Because he has certain qualities to him when he raps. I'm like, that's not a producer rapper. That's somebody that was rapping and decided to start making beats for themselves, probably because they was rapping.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can hear that on this record. Now, here's what I now realize. Because you have a producer who really at heart is a rapper, that type of person, and I know because my cousin M6 is that type of person and was to me. When that person is your producer, your shit goes up a level because they understand what you're trying to do rapper wise. Some
That's
producers don't
why.
understand what you're trying to do as an MC because they ain't never spit no bars like that.
That's a
So they
very,
don't get it.
very, very fair point. That's why Kanye West is so successful in taking artists where they are and elevating them. Because yeah, you're
I
right.
was actually I
Yeah.
was actually about to say, Mike. Now, our top three producers of all time are probably Dr. Dre, The RZA, and Kanye West. Now, what do they have in common?
Right. You think Dr. Dre is a rapper first, though? I think Dr. Dre's
he's
different.
always been a DJ.
Yeah.
But how about this? He has Easy's probably the one that pointed out to them, Tim. You know you got rapper qualities, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Now, this is what I will say about Dre.
That?
This is what I will say about Dre. Dre has a dope rap voice. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. He has rapper qualities. He has a better rap voice than most of the rappers, Mike.
He does. And I think that's what separates him from, some of the other producers that try to jump behind the mic, in front of the mic, excuse me.
Also got Snoop
that
Dogg
weren't doing
and
that
DLC.
first. Yeah.
And Easy and Ice Cube.
But when he was finding his voice, I think was around 100 Miles and Running. And when Cube says, you can yell all you want, but you never come close. I think he was trying to find, how do I match this missing energy that we're missing from Ice Cube not being here? He was trying to replace Cube vocally, and Cube called him out for it. But he eventually found his voice on The Chronic, and I think he has one of the doper rap voices for a producer.
I think he has one of the doper rap voices, period.
I agree.
was just like calling it in general.
Yeah. Mad Max of the Super Chat says, Mary's from Mount Vernon and YO. That's why she is so easy to switch. That's why it was such an easy switch. Makes sense. What were you saying?
No, just it's like having a guy like that in the studio is invaluable on this level. Because that guy, if he's rap too, he'll tell you, he'd be like, yo, you're using too many words. Take that word or that word out. Or why don't you try to flip it like that instead? Because the rapper and the producer here is taking over, but it's taking over to help you. And so now I can see some of their synergy. And that's where Hit-Boy is succinctly different than all the other great producers Nas has worked with. And that's why this pairing's really working.
I think you're right. I think you're right because
he's a writer's writer and an MC's MC. What other producer has he worked with that knows about bar work like Hit do from a personal perspective of writing the bars, not a hook?
I feel like Large Professor was a rapper first. Am I wrong?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
We have to check up on that. I don't know.
But even if that is the case, I don't feel like Nas and Large Professor explored the possibilities of their partnership as an MC and producer. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they kind of got cut short, if that makes any sense. You don't think so?
No. And I say this respectfully. Large Professor is a producer, time-wise. He did one of the Dead or Alive for Cool G Rap.
Mm-hmm.
He finished up Let the Rhythm Hit Him, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mike, that's 90-91. If Nas goes forward with Large Professor, that's that whole Illmatic thing that's not going to work for him moving forward. So, like, respectfully, it's like, no. Like, that's what people don't understand. I keep saying this. Illmatic is not about 1994. Illmatic is a timepiece about 1986 to 1994. And when the timepiece is done, it needs to be done.
It needs to be moved on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think it's more of a...
Think about it.
You think it's kind of a Manny Fresh Wayne thing?
Yes. Just not to the level, because Large and Nas didn't even work heavy like that. Like, how about this? What work did Large really, really do for Nas after Illmatic? You know what I'm saying?
We got You're the Man. And I feel like that might have been it, because I don't think he did anything on It Was Written or I
He
Am.
didn't. When did Star Wars and On the Real come out? Ain't that Large Pro? On the Real Star Wars?
On the Real is Marley Marl. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Star Wars is Large Professor. I don't know. I know he came back around and did Stay on Life is Good, I believe.
Ooh, that's a banger. It's one of the best songs Nas ever made. One of the best songs Nas ever made. Stay is a banger. Stay might be the best song on Life is... Stay is my favorite song on Life is Good, I think.
Yeah.
Stay and Cherry Wine.
I feel like, though, and I understand what you're saying, I feel like that Large Professor could have grown with the sound, but Nas being who he was at that time was urgent. He probably didn't have that kind of time to experiment like that. You kind of got to go with the short shots. Biggie's out here making what he's making. You know what I mean? The West Coast is still doing what they're doing. Let's see what these Trackmasters guys have. You know, they just worked with LL on Mr. Smith. Let's see what they got.
Well, you see, and also, too, you have to understand that Illmatic production template, it made everybody think. It's like, oh, let's do that with producers that, you know, make bigger records.
Hits. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
But also, let's call these street guys for a record or two as well. And that's how Havoc and DJ Premier are on Life After Death right next to the Hitmakers. Big sitting up there watching. It's like, no, I'm going to do that. We're going to get a hit-making production team, and we're going to have a street production team. Shout out to Nas.
You remember like in the early 2000s where every artist that came out, they all had a beat from the Neptunes, Swiss, Timbaland. Like they was on every damn album.
It's part of the handbook.
Yeah.
It's part of the handbook.
And it was like,
you
you got some of your producers you came up with. Yeah, they can come along. And Kanye got added to that fold at a certain point too. Just Blaze. Like, everybody had damn near the same producers on every album. And that's why when people talk about the early 2000s, you know, I guess it's nostalgic for certain people, but I didn't love the early 2000s, you know, as a collective in hip-hop because everybody had the same producers making their stuff for the most part. And so a lot of the stuff that you heard ended up sounding the same, at least the singles. And then 50 came and broke that shit up.
I'm glad he did because I was getting tired of that shit. But, you know, here's what I'm saying is that, like, Jermaine Dupri. Like, Nas should have hooked up with JD. Like, you see how quick Biggie got the B-side? You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's the stuff that they was doing, like, immediately after they heard that. It's like, okay, because here was the thing is, it's like, oh, we can't beat him at that, so we got to play another way.
Well, I think Jermaine Dupri, and I say this respectfully, I think Jermaine Dupri and Trackmasters kind of cancel each other out. And that's why I think that's the verses we really need. We need a Jermaine Dupri and Trackmasters versus, really, if we keep it all the way 100. I think that'd be a great versus.
That's the first time I've been afraid for Jermaine Dupri in a versus.
Yeah, man, Trackmasters are being slept on heavily.
I told you, Mike, lounging, Hey Lover, and Doing It, and the I Shot Your remix. Mike, that's all on Mr. Smith. Don't nobody even talk about Mr. Smith.
Right.
They got four all-time great bangers.
People are running from Trackmasters. Listen, really, I think Puffy should have been like, yo, Trackmasters. I think Trackmasters would beat Puff. I'm just gonna keep it real. And I respect Puff, man, and the work that Puff has done, but in that matchup, I'm leaning more towards Trackmasters, man.
Hey, real talk, what you gonna do when the beat for Doing It drop? Brooklyn.
Well, it cancels out Juicy, too, because I thought Tone and Puff made Juicy, technically. Or was it Puff?
Tone did like the drums and the keyboard for Juicy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, drums and keyboard is Tone, if I'm not mistaken.
So that's always canceled out. If it's not
drums and keyboard, it's one of the two.
Mike H with the super chat says, Hit-Boy let it slip out in a recent interview that he's working on the 5th album with Nas. Thoughts?
Well, he literally said that on the interview I did with him. That's why I didn't have to ask him if they were working on stuff, because he literally told me during the interview that they were still working. I hope y'all caught that part of the interview. He's like, we still working now. I was like, check, confirmation. Mike, I was like, okay, so let me scratch those KD4 questions off my list. I don't ask questions when niggas give me answers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so he answered my question without me asking.
Well, people just got to pay attention. You know, you don't want to be super literal out here. Yeah, people pay attention to the interview. You get it.
Well, also, too, when you're being blessed with an interview to kind of up your profile for the first time, what you don't want to be doing is asking a question that a motherfucker already answered.
Of course.
Because then it looks like you're not on top of your game as an interviewer.
Like, were you listening to me?
Did you hear me when I said that he's still coming in here and we still making records?
Do you think that's a KD4 or a Magic 2? Or do you think this Magic 2 is something that fans have made up? You think that even exists, or you think it's just a KD4?
And we're going to have this stadium flow conversation, but why would he make Magic again Why?
Well, you know
That
what?
would be like making Illmatic again. And guess what happened when he tried to make Illmatic again? We did, as a U.S. fan base, we did some Illmatic type things in terms of our support or
You're
lack
right.
thereof. We did some Illmatic things in the streaming era. You can't even bootleg it. Illmatic got bootleg, Mike. You can't bootleg in the streaming era. And you still he's not making no. Mike, if he make Magic 2, I'm gonna hit the plug up and be like, hey. Tell him I said no.
Well,
please,
you know,
for his own sake.
you know, I don't.
No.
Hold on. You know, I don't believe all of the numbers that they present out there, and you and I,
it shouldn't even be a question, though, Mike.
Yeah. You and I were covering this whole Magic thing, and the fans really put pressure on us to make sure that we went. What was that? Christmas Eve. I think I had I think I had like the Amari Cron or something. I don't know. I got found negative, but whatever. Anyway, we got to this microphone. We had a show about it, and we were wild. It was album of the year actually for us that year, and the people made sure that we put it in 2001 and didn't put it in 2022. I'm sorry, 2021 and didn't put it in 2022. But with that being said, we also noticed there was zero media coverage on this album. And it was like, why? You know what I mean? And that's not on the fans right there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for whatever reason, they tried to act like Magic just never happened. I don't know if it's because the output, he dropped an incredible album with KD2 and Magic in the same year, and people would have to explain how he's not the greatest ever. I don't know. Maybe that was part of it, but the fact that Magic didn't get that coverage, I agree with you. Don't repeat and make Magic 2. We'd rather have KD 4, I guess. Because KD 4 can continue on that evolving thing that they're clearly working on. But if you do Magic 2, people are gonna expect Magic over again. You know what I mean?
No. Let's stop all that. Like, real talk. We don't need any more evidence that Nas knows how to rhyme his ass off.
Oh no, we don't.
We don't that's why we don't need Magic 2. It's like, if we were to take everything out of it, let's just break it down to some fundamental, simple things. And I'm going to say this again so people understand. We don't need no proof that Nas can rap his ass off. We have Illmatic. It was written. We have Life is Good. We have this KD series. We have Magic. We have Godson. We have Stillmatic. No. He don't need to make another rapping ass rap album. Mike, the only thing that he does not have is the numbers that are comparable to the people who he is deservedly compared to. What part of this situation that I have been explaining for over a year now are people missing? The only thing this man is missing is the numbers. Numbers. Run these numbers up. There's nothing for else him to do. So that shit he's doing with Hit, like, no, that's why I'm like, no, do that. The stuff with 21, do that. Because that's going to do numbers. Jonathan, I told you, man, Glove, I'm going to say this one more time. You hear how Glove was talking to me, Mike? He's like, well, I was quadruple platinum out the gate. Hint.
Now the numbers matter. Jonathan Coleman with the super chat says, has Nas rapped over a Neptune beat? Yeah, the Flyers. Yeah, that was on the Clones
Charlie's
album.
Angels.
Or was it Charlie's
Angels?
Did they put
Charlie's
on
Angels soundtrack?
What was that was on the Clones album?
I feel like he did have something on there. He's done a couple of tracks with the Neptunes, but
nothing really that stood out to me.
Like two. Yeah. Pharrell is the one that introduced him to Khalees.
Yeah, I heard. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, maybe KD4 might be a duo album this time. Nas and Hit-Boy trading bars the whole album. That'd be dope. Again, just continue to change it up.
He got some bars. Yeah, he got some bars. Y'all be too proud to do the devil's work. When he said that shit, I was like, yeah, he's a rapper.
Yeah.
Rapper. Yeah.
I got to get Magic on vinyl, by the way.
Me too.
People are talking about the vinyl's nice. I bet it is.
The green vinyl? Yeah, I've been seeing pictures of the vinyl. Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I think the record is another banger. Hit-Boy has this album coming out this Friday. We're going to talk about that this Friday as well. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, we don't need any more evidence that Nas is the greatest rapper of all time. I mean, and again, I'm not even expecting a KD4. But if we get a KD4 this year, man, like, I don't. This ain't even about the people in his class anymore. Now I'm looking at the Coles and Kendricks, man. Like, this is crazy.
I'm totally cool if he doesn't even drop an album this year and he just does like feature runs and runs his numbers up with everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be a good look for him. Like, he's never had a year like that. All his feature run years, this is what I mean. His feature run years even, Mike, are on some rap shit. It's like, ooh, you heard that I for an I verse, you heard that verbal intercourse, that more money, like, no. I would just like to see him do like a feature run, starting with this hit shit. This is the perfect way to start a feature run with the guy that, you know, got this run started with you, you know, and just kind of keep going for there. So the 21 record, the hit record, I would love to hear him do a remix to one of these Metro records. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that, you know?
Well, somebody said something interesting in the chat. What would you think about Hit-Boy producing an album for Nas and AZ?
How the money gonna work?
What do you mean?
How the money gonna work? Who paying for what?
Mass appeal.
And no. And and furthermore, this is what I mean. What does that do for Nas as an artist at this stage to do the album with A? I know we want to hear it. What does it do?
Well, it's for the fans, sounds like.
He just made magic for the fans. You see what I'm saying about that?
Mm-hmm.
Magic was literally... Mike, I've been told this firsthand. He made that specifically for us that was wondering if he could make something rhyme-wise comparable to Illmatic. And he was literally like, okay,
yeah,
bet that. And then he went and did it. And Mike, and how did that shit go? Because I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Because I know who people are and I know who I am. The Nas and AZ album going to go like this. It's like, man, there ain't no phone tap on there. Ain't no Life's a Bitch on there. Ain't even no More Money, More Murder, More Homicide on there. With these beats hit, man,
you don't think people would embrace it?
They should. Why ain't they go ahead and call Pete Rock and Preem?
Now I think that
ain't nobody trying to hear that.
Now there you go. That would be the criticism. People would be wondering, where's Premier at? Where's Pete Rock at? And it's like, I think at this point we have to face the reality that the combination of Hit-Boy and Nas has surpassed the combination of Premier and Nas. You know, Pete Rock and Nas, obviously, they haven't made a whole lot of stuff together. Even Large Professor and Nas. It is what it is.
This is his best producer pairing. I don't care what you say.
It is. They got
best,
4 albums together, Coop. There's no way you can...
It's not even conversational.
No,
his best songs are with Preem. His best songs are with Preem. That's fine. The output is hit. Like, the top end songs are Preem because Preem has I Gave You Power and Nas is like in New York State of Mind 1 and 2. No, we get it. But that's what I'm saying. Y'all understand, like, Preem and Nas only got like 8 joints together, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, and I say this with the Andre 3000 thing all the time. You can't judge people on spot dates and features and things like that. It's a whole body of work. These guys have proven 4 times a body of work. There is no body of work in one collective setting from Nas and Premier. And as great as they sound together when they do get together, we can't say that they're a better combo than Hit and Nas. Just like I would never say they're a better combo than Dre and Snoop. We just don't have the evidence.
Okay, Nas and AZ barely have an album worth of material together over the last 30 years. Yeah. Premier and Nas don't have an album worth of material together. So some of the fodder is literally just that. It's fodder and it's nostalgia. It's like, no. You talking about our childhood, fam. It's like, Mike, I'm cool with Phone Tap. Yeah. I'm cool with Life's a Bitch. Like, if they get together and do something, I love it. But I love more when AZ's dropping an album and Cormega's dropping an album and somebody as big as Nas is the first person I see to repost it and support it and tell people to go check it out.
Oh, yeah.
I love to see that. I love to see that just as much as I love to hear the record at this point. We got the records.
Yeah, and Nas posted the Static Selector Wu-Tang record. Like, I love that. I love seeing that. Now, if we talk about an unofficial duo that we need an effort from, give me that Jadakiss and Styles, man. I'll take that today.
Hey, real talk. They both missed a big opportunity by not doing that. And I don't know why.
They could have done it after the verses. To be honest, they could have done it as recent as after the verses.
Mike,
because
they should have. They
Jada
should have
was
done.
a
They should
hot
have.
commodity out here after that. Now,
They should have done it after. They should have done it after We Gonna Make It. They should have done it after We Are the Streets. They should. I can count like 4, 5, 6 times they should have done it.
yeah, when all that G Unit stuff was going on, people are saying it's too late. I'm surprised y'all are saying that because Styles and Jada
It's never
still
too
sound
late.
great. It's not like they sound washed or anything. They sound great still. I don't think it's too late to make a
It's
dope
never
album.
too late.
Now it might be too late for hip hop to herald it as it should be, but for them to make a dope album, I don't think it's too late. And I think, like I said, they could have done it after that Dipset verses and had all the intention.
Had multiple times.
Jadarian with the
Multiple
super
times.
chat says Nas as an artist should do what he wants. He's solidified. As long as his heart is in it, we will support. Definitely.
That be the thing. Let's have a conversation about support. We got an old school way sometimes of looking at support. You feel me? We really do look at support like I copped this piece. We're done here. Peace.
Well, all right. This is the thing.
No. Listen, no.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just let me extend my comment a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Like I know this gentleman. He's a commercial real estate mogul, Mr. Pitts. I've known Mr. Pitts since I was in college. He was a great black man. He's one of my mentors. Played point guard at Texas A&M. But more than anything else, he's a big Prince fan. Okay? Me and him have a Prince conversation. Keep in mind, this man's about 15, 16 years my senior. So records I think I know. Oh, he's singing the words to him when I'm pulling the songs out.
Yeah.
At one of my old jobs, when Prince died, he literally asked my owner if he could throw an event for Prince, and my owner agreed. And he DJ'd the event. When he showed up in like this purple rainish kind of like. But long story short, Mike, Prince used to have pins that you could buy. Like James had all the pins, and I realized it's like, no, he's got all the vinyl, he's got all the cassettes, he's got all the CDs. He's got all the pins. You get what I'm saying? Support. When I'm saying support, I'm talking about Mr. Pitts. I'm not talking about like copping one time. Like the people, and that's what I'm talking about with this Nas fan base is like, no, people may not be educated on what it means to really support an artist. Now, I'm not saying Nas is Prince. Nobody is Prince to me. But when I look at Mr. Pitts and how he supported Prince, I'm like, my guy Esco need more guys like Mr. Pitts. And that's really what I've been stressing. Somebody that's like, no, Coop, I got the vinyl of this. He got 45s of records that got released as singles that never made albums. You feel what I'm saying? Nas doesn't seem to have that in his corner. Listen to what I'm saying. Jay got that in his corner. Drake, Wayne, M, Pop, Big, they got that. So when I'm talking about what he doesn't have, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, that's why it's like, no. We do need to go buy a copy of Magic on vinyl.
There's a lot to unpack there, though. I understand what you're saying. And,
no, I know people understand me, but do they feel me?
I understand what you're saying, but I think there's reasons, and I don't think that some of those people that you mentioned, they have large fan bases, but I don't know how dedicated a Drake fan base is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that one of the things...
Drake filled out everything, Mike.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but again, people go to concerts for different reasons. Sometimes people go to concerts just to say they were there, just to be somewhere or whatever that's popping, just so they could put it, tag it on their social media, not just for that artist. You know what I mean? Oh, let me get to these super chats real quick. Ed with the super chat says, Coop, the days of Nas selling high numbers are over, respectfully. He's got three multi-platinum albums. I'm good with Nas putting out music that he wants, not numbers inspired.
That might stop right second. That person thinks they're part of the solution, and they're really part of the problem. Keep going. People who think like that are part of the problem, not the solution.